drugs inside of prison. The number one thing that guys want while they are incarcerated. Some even care more about getting drugs in prison than their own freedom. And if you think that sounds crazy, well, just imagine this. If you get caught with drugs in prison, or if you get caught trying to smuggle drugs in prison, well, that would result in what a prison investigator told me one time. You're about to be in a world of shit. And by the way, this is not drugs at all. This is actually catnip for Skipper over there, just in case my PO is watching. But how do you know it's not really drugs? And also, by the way, the reason the prison investigator told me I was about to be in a world of shit was for tattooing. Another story for another time. Drugs see, this doesn't even look as good now that I've already said that it potentially is not drugs. It's not drugs. I personally had nothing at all to do with drugs while I was in prison. But I did know quite a few prisoners who were heavily involved with either doing drugs or getting drugs in. And in this video, we are gonna dive even deeper into the underbelly of society that is prison and talk all about drugs in prison. Oh my God. I'm blind. I am going to tell you all about the who, the what, the how, and of course, the repercussions that all pertain to drugs in prison. Why do I keep doing that? The who. Who wants drugs in prison? Who wants drugs in prison? No, not that. In fact, if you do that while you're in prison, they're gonna bury you. Quite possibly even literally. There are two different types of individuals who want drugs in prison, and I'm sure it's no stretch of the imagination to understand that it is either one, individuals who want to get high, and two, individuals who know there is a lot of money to make from individuals who want to get high. Think about this. What may cost $5 or $10 in the free world, in prison is going to cost upwards of $100. $100 just to do a very small amount of drugs while incarcerated. It's crazy to think about this. Prisoners usually, for the most part, have no money. I mean, they may work a job and they may make a very small amount of money per month and may call home to their families to try to get money sent in. But just imagine if you were doing drugs in prison that cost upwards of $100. How many times you're going to be calling home like, Grandma, don't go to sleep. Grandma, wake up. Send Timmy $100, Grandma. Timmy, Grandma. Something like that, I imagine. The what? Drugs in prison. The what? What drugs in prison do prisoners most likely want? Any drugs. And what drugs most likely get inside of a prison? Any drugs. From weed to spice to every kind of pill imaginable, to steroids and acid, even crack, and mostly especially heroin. There is a market inside of prison for each and every one of these things specifically. Steroids, the guys who spend their entire 10, 20-year prison sentence pumping iron, those are your steroid guys. And they will spend whatever it takes to have very small penises and bigger muscles. I'm pretty sure that's what steroids does, right? Weed, spice, heroin, those three things right there are huge ticket items inside of prison. I have seen individuals fall out with needles still stuck in their arm to be then woken up by a CO. I have seen individuals during count time when you were supposed to be completely dressed up in your prison jumpsuit or your prison uniform standing in front of your bunk. I have seen individuals in only their boxers slouched up against the bunk. Crack inside of prison. I have literally seen a guy while in prison smoke crack out of a chicken bone. What is this? Is that a chicken bone? If prisoners are willing to go through whatever lengths to get drugs inside of prison, then you have to know that prisoners will do whatever it takes to be able to use those drugs inside of prison. The how. Probably the most anticipated part of this video, but how exactly prisoners get these drugs inside of prison? There are many different ways prisoners attempt to get these drugs in. and most likely new ways being developed at this very moment. I'll give you a few that I have personally seen work. And by the way, for the sole asshole who is about to comment and say this is snitching, don't you think guards are more than fucking aware of all of these different smuggling methods? For the prisoners attempting to use these methods, the rationale is probably something like the reward outweighs the risk, or they're thinking they won't get caught. The how? Through the mail. From false bottom packages to multiple layer cards to sprayable drugs. These are just a few of the ways prisoners will try to get drugs in prison through the mail. A multiple layer card. Something like this. Multiple layers. What they would do is have somebody on the outside peel apart one of these layers, like so, and then take the drugs and stash them between those layers, just like so. Seal the edges and then send this through the mail. 9 times out of 10, this is gonna get caught, but there is always that one time that this will work. By the way, special shout out to Raj who created this Christmas card for me. Thank you very much. Sprayable drugs. There are literally drugs out there right now that can actually be sprayed on a letter, and then that letter can be sent in through the mail where prisoners can get that letter, tear off strips of that letter, then roll it up and smoke it. This method right here is virtually undetectable. And I personally have seen sprayable drugs get through every time. If not the mail, there are other options. Visitation, where whoever you have coming to see you, your beautiful sweetheart, your 400-pound beautiful sweetheart, who is willing to smuggle you in the drugs under her 50-pound titty and then pass you that drug in visitation, where you would either swallow it or you could choose to use the South Pole method and suitcase this. Suitcasing refers to sticking this in your ass. When leaving visitation, you will be strip searched, butt ball naked in front of a CO who is going to ask you to bend over and cough. And if you have this shoved up your ass, you better pray that when you cough, this doesn't fall out of your ass. If not the mail and not visitation, there is always the chance that you will meet a corrupt prison staff individual. Somebody who doesn't care about their job very much or even their freedom if they are caught and are willing to go meet Timmy, Grandma, Timmy, Grandma, to pick this up for you and bring this to you on the inside. Finally, the last topic of this drugs in prison video are the repercussions. And those repercussions are pretty steep, whether it's either A, doing drugs in prison and getting caught through a dirty urine, or actually getting caught with the drugs, or B, getting caught trying to smuggle the drugs in personally or via however. If you are caught doing, possessing, or even failing a drug test, that can result in a complete loss of good time, and even worse, more time added on to your sentence. And if you are caught trying to smuggle drugs into a prison, your ass is going down. They will give you new charges that you will have to leave prison to go to court for, and you can guarantee you are getting 5 years tacked on to whatever time you are already serving. I have literally seen individuals on their last 6 months who have been getting drugs in and get jammed up during their last 6 months. Their release date comes up and they're not getting out of prison because they just got a fresh 5 years for these new charges. The moral to this story is, it's just not worth it. No matter whether you just want to get high in prison or whether you think you can be Pablo Escobar of your prison, to me personally, it's just not worth it. Hey look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know exactly what you think about this. And until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace! Let's give some shout outs for my last video, how to make prison wine. That was an absolute disaster. I want to start incorporating shout outs from all sorts of different stuff. I'm going to shout out one person from Instagram every video, one person from Twitter as well, and then the rest, of course, will come from my previous videos. So more options and more chances for you to get a shout out. Shout out Marvin13. He actually donated to the crowdfunding campaign that helped me get my moped back. Thank you very much, Marvin13. It really means a lot. Let's shout out Adrian Thibulant. I think that's how you pronounce that. I hope I pronounced that right. He said, you know you're an awesome YouTuber when you try to respond to as many comments as possible. I swear, Adrian, if I could respond to every single comment, I would. And that is why I try to include these shout outs with all of these videos, or at least almost all of these videos, to help me stay engaged with all of you out there. Thanks for the comment, Adrian. Shout out Black and Gold, who commented and said that I forgot to mention the name of my cat that was making his guest appearance in the video. That is Skipper. He has been in past videos, but it's been a while since he's been in a video. I'm sure you're gonna be seeing more of him in the near future. Let's give two more shout outs, one from my Instagram and one from my Twitter. From Instagram, let's shout out Diggy is Lit. This kid, he's awesome. He comments on everything. Diggy is Lit, thank you for your support. And from Twitter, if you retweet any of the stuff that I tweet out, you definitely have a chance of getting a shout out. And from yesterday, Caleb. Caleb, you're awesome. Thank you for the retweet. And to everybody else, I look forward to being able to shout you out as well. That's it. Peace.